The biggest thing I did on the year that I left school was I arranged for a group of us to walk the whole length of Hadrian's Wall.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Now, the other point, Mark, is exactly what you were referring before. I was helping me in my property business, right? And I remember he was working in my property business back in the day. And I remember Daddy telling me an advice, say, Harry, do this, yeah? And then I didn't listen to this advice. And then a business mentor come, tell me the same advice. And then I take it on board. And I remember Daddy to be angry at me, to say, look, you listen to other people, you don't listen to me. And I tried to explain to Daddy, it's not that I don't listen to you. Is that the way in my decision-making process, when I receive an advice from a mentor, from a coach that actually is selling millions and is in my same space in property, and they give me this advice and coincide with your advice, that have way more weight to that business decision. It's nothing personal. I love you. You're my dad, and I love you with my life. But when it comes to an advice, I had to get qualified advice from the people that actually done it, because my dad never have a business, so he's a teacher. He's a great teacher, basic and math, but never have a business. And sometimes, yes, he might think common sense, and but I have a rule since I'm very early in the entrepreneur life that is not. Some people will tell you Harry doesn't listen. I do listen, and I listen a lot, but I listen a lot only to qualified people. I listen a lot only to people that actually has a goals or are in the higher level of entrepreneurship. The reason for that is because this advice has to be qualified. Nobody will understand 100% the operation that I'm going through and the decision that I'm going to take, unless that someone had done the same business or similar business and is selling more money than me, because an advice, and this is what I was trying to articulate today. Yeah, this is your advice, but in order for me to implement that, there are a lot of things that you're not aware of that I'm dealing, right?
Take this for everyone listening. Let's just take that conversation back to where you said your father gave you advice, you didn't take it. Your business mentor gave you the same advice and you took the advice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If I was sat in front of a new client now, I would ask them the question, given that as an example, why was that the case? And the case is very simple. How much did your father charge you for the advice? Nothing. How much did your business mentor charge you for the advice? There was a cost involved because he or she was your business mentor. Yeah.
Well, in that case, was a friend. He was from the property mastermind.
When people give free advice to people, it's very rarely taken on board because it's free. If anything's free in life, people see no value in it. So you subconsciously, your dad gave you the advice, but because it was free advice, you didn't take any value from it. If I retain a business mentor, and there are two of my businesses where I am part of mentorship groups myself, I pay tens of thousands of dollars a year to being part of two specific day trading groups, because I also teach and trade day trading through stocks, not Forex, not gold and silver, not Bitcoin or anything. We're just talking pure stocks and shares. So I still invest in myself, which is what people should do when we talk about a cost of investment. They should invest in themselves, because then when they listen to their business mentor, in my case with day trading, my day trading mentees listen to me, they can then go out and have some of the best success winning rates on the planet. Without shadow of a doubt, they share my story more than I do. And that's how we keep the group small, but they're making tens of thousands of dollars a month from day trading. Literally penny stocks, dollars to $3, dollar stocks today that have shot up to $13. Now, the reason they listen to me is because I teach them the right way to do it, and they listen to me and they pay for the advice. If they went, as I say to them quite often, guys, girls, go off onto YouTube, go off onto x.com, we're up to. People, when they pay for advice from a qualified business mentor with 38 years worth of experience, will suddenly realize he only has their best interests at heart. Otherwise, why do I need more clients? I've just been to 3 weeks in Puerto Rico. I'm booked up for next year's cruise already. I'm off to Portugal soon and France. We're doing a big development in France. Why do I need to have more clients?
Yeah.
I don't need their money. What I want to do is I want to see their success and I want to help build their business. That's why the media called me the business builder over 28 years ago. I never gave myself that moniker. It was put in the press. Mark Walker is the business builder because I successfully built business after business. Going way back to when eBay came to the UK, I had two of the most successful eBay businesses on eBay for nearly 12 years in total. 14 years we ran the business, then we sold it as a going concern.
Wow. So
So
yeah,
early
the most
early
important thing is
2000s.
to have the qualified advice. I think that because like I said, even the friend gave me the advice, and it was in a mastermind, and it wasn't free advice, but I took it because he was a successful entrepreneur, someone down several houses in United States and London. So I'm a multi-millionaire property investor, and that getting the qualified advice and the qualified mentor, yeah, I think is the decision making, and also people learn how to have the right mentor, right? Because there are people that are very good in 0 to 1 million. There are other people that are very good at 1 million to 10 million. Other people 10 million to 100 million. Even in this podcast, there are people that are good from 100 million to a billion. This is the thing that they are
Absolutely.
good. So people, when you mentor, you need to find out what type of have, and if that mentor resonates with you in the goal that you want to achieve. And if before, and a lot of people can tell me, no, Harry, but you see the coach of Usain Bolt is doesn't run as fast to Usain Bolt, and he got mad. So do you really need to do before
But
you
that's a
coach a
but
mentor?
Harry, that's
Yeah,
a great that's a people because Usain Bolt had the physique and the muscle to
absolutely.
run, but he still needed the coach to tell him how to position himself, how to carry himself,
However,
how to
exactly,
crouch, and how to run, and how
the
to
coach
hold
will
his
keep him
arms. Yeah,
accountable, but
yeah,
is it right?
yes,
The a coach is can keep you accountable, that can help you to goals, that can and somehow guide the technique, yeah,
yes.
and you can go mad. But when it comes to mentorship, is completely different ball game, because that knowledge that mentor have is undoubtedly he has executed himself. If I've done it before, otherwise there's no way that the person can know they have executed. So there is a between coaching and mentorship. We mentor and coach thousands of people around the world, and again in our platforms. It's important to understand that there is a difference between coach and mentor, and when you find it when it comes to business, in my opinion, it's really important that someone that's going to guide you have done it before, because he will understand in some form what you're going through, right? And of course, if it happened, mentor is a good coach and knows how to keep you accountable, and that's amazing. But mindset of the entrepreneur, Mark, because sometimes the biggest resistance is, like, for example, I find very you just shared that when you said, well, when I was 24 years old, I think I touched 10 into gold. But you know what? I was someone that wanted to learn, and was humble enough to listen and learn from, and said that with 24 years old, you have a mentor. That woman was mentor you, and so on. Look at you. When I was 24, I was thinking that damn the word, I was not listening anybody. You know what I mean? So when do you got that discipline? When do you got this mindset power? You listening to your mentors. I remember when I opened my restaurant, I have a girlfriend back on the day, and the mom was a great entrepreneur. And as soon as she opened the restaurant, she told me, Harry, close, not gonna work. And I'm like, I'm gonna make this work. I'm the big guy. And 2 years down the line, and it didn't work. And she told me from day one, as soon as she opened the door, because she was an entrepreneur, so she knew just by opening the door of my restaurant in Brick Lane. So it's that ego, Mark, that we all entrepreneurs we have, because we all have ego, undoubtedly, because we think we think do better. Otherwise, we won't become entrepreneurs. So that ego, we have it for sure. All entrepreneurs, we have it. But when is the moment that you surrendered that ego and you said, look, I need to learn, I need to find a mentor, I need help. For me, the turning point was when I was 200, when I lost the 200,000 in that restaurant. That day, I realized that it was not a big deal, that this ego that I have, I had to drop it. And if I want to progress in business, I had to be humble, I had to listen to people. And this big deal that I thought that Harry was a big deal and I know everything and I can make millions with property, at the end of the day, it doesn't work. So when do you be you're so lucky that you find out this very at the very young age? So how you find how you behave like this? Do you have a bad experience?
No, the only reason I'm laughing is because if you were my clients, my friend, you using the word ego all the time is just doing yourself a disservice. I get the use of the word ego. I always say that somebody with an ego is somebody who actually is lacking in many things, and they put on a bravado, which is the ego. There's a very fine line, and also at the same time a big void between the word ego and confidence. So the question is, where does confidence come from? Well, confidence for me, I was the eldest grandchild. All of my cousins are still alive, so I'm still obviously I'll always be the oldest grandchild. And I did a lot of things at school. I went to a very good school. It was a Royal Grammar School here in Worcester. And I am still, and this may shock some listeners, I am still in touch with my form master from my fourth, and in the old numbers, when I say year 4 and 5, that's when I was 14 and 15 in the old scoring days. You started senior school and it was year 1 at senior school. I know that year 12s and 14s and also confuses me still to this day. But in the 4th and 5th year, as it was at the Royal Grammar School, Worcester, my form master was an amazing guy. We did as a school, students with ideas. So literally every time I put an idea forward, that would go through to the school. My master would put it forward and we would generally get signed off as, yeah, we can do that. The biggest thing I did on the year that I left school was I arranged for a group of us to walk the whole length of Hadrian's Wall up in the north, the old-fashioned, the divide between England and Scotland. And that was from Bowness on the east coast right the way through to Wallsend in Newcastle. And it took us a week to walk it. I'd already completed my O-levels. O-levels don't even exist in today's educational system. Let's not go into N at this point in time, Harry, because other than for me to say the UK education system is broken, discipline is broken, and we wonder why so many kids are running around and headless chickens and focusing on everything that they shouldn't do, except for being a better person for themselves, supporting their family, making their
business. They should in UK some financial education on how to start a business. That's a good topic that they should be teaching and encouraging people in our young generation, United Kingdom, right?
Yeah, nowadays, 2025, the year that we're in now, has never been an easier time for anybody to start a business using their mobile phone.
I agree with you.
Buy a domain name, technology, write your script and copy, set up a website.
The barrier to entry is so low now that I remember using how long with English is not my first language. So I remember to write a letter sometimes. They me like 2 days. I had to write and I had to check the spelling and everything. And now you can do this in 2 minutes.
So the question is for listening
perfect.
The question is for everyone listening in is, what's stopping them from creating their first £1 million? That was your first question at the top of the hour was, it's £1 million business. How do they create it? My question is, what's stopping them? The only thing
what is on the way?
Well, the only thing I can imagine is they've not had a conversation with a business mentor yet, where they can kind of ask them some of the key points and the information and then see what is the cost of working with a business mentor. Because not all business mentors are out to be taking, 20, 30,000 pounds a year or dollars a year. It doesn't matter. Some individual mentors like myself, I do group mentorship as well. So the cost of entry, the barrier to entry is pretty much removed. But I would rather you take your example of spending £200,000 on a restaurant. Had you have met me, and it's a very simple story, isn't it, to kind of make up on the hoof, because you know where this is going, and so do your listeners know where this is going. But had you a small proportion of that in me as a business mentor that could have looked at your operation from start and the idea and what type of restaurant it was going to be, potentially, is all I'm saying, you could have saved £200,000. Now, you spent the £200,000.
Probably you would tell me don't open it.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.